Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 4 of Serendipity. This one is titled The Precious Broccoli Bean. Just then you reached your house. This is me, you said, stopping at the gate. Oh, he said. Okay. There was a long pause as he gazed down at you, and you looked up at him, neither of you knowing how to sign off appropriately before leaving. I'll see you later then, you said, your mouth moving without thinking. Yes, he said. You stopped and scrunched your eyes shut with embarrassment. Sorry, that sounded weird. Of course I won't see you again. Or maybe, I don't know, you blabbered. Deku chuckled. It was nice to meet you, Miss Lin. Same, Deku. Thank you for walking me home. You're welcome, he said softly as he watched you turn and let yourself inside the gate. Bye, you said quietly with a shy smile. Bye, he replied with a little hand raised. He watched you walk up the steps and go inside the apartment, sighing as he turned to go. She was really sweet, he thought as he walked off down the road. That night, you just couldn't get him out of your head. You'd always been told that you should never meet your idol because sometimes they turned out to be, well, not what you thought they'd be, and it would be disappointing. But man, he had been everything and more. You looked at one of your Deku posters on the wall and smiled, drifting off to sleep. You were much bubblier the next day, despite the hand-sized bruise on your arm from where that bag snatcher guy had grabbed you, but that frightening event had been overshadowed by the absolute dream event that followed straight afterwards. You couldn't concentrate on anything, walking home with Deku still playing on loop in your mind. You wondered if he would remember you. You actually got to tell him your name, but that meant nothing really. He met thousands of people a day. Who are you? At the end of that week, the police contacted you, asking you to come to the station to write a report on what had happened to you at the bank so that they could put the criminals responsible away for good. You were only too happy to help and arranged to be there later in the afternoon. Well, Miss Lin, thank you for your time, the sergeant said after you'd given him a written and verbal statement on what had happened. We'll be in touch if we need anything else, he added, extending his hand. You smiled slightly and shook his hand before giving him a little nod and walking out the door that he'd held open for you. You were deep in thought and almost walked straight into someone. Oh, sorry, you yelped, stepping back sharply. Miss Lin, the voice said excitedly. How are you? You looked up into the beautiful, soft face of Deku and nearly passed out. You're everywhere, you yelped. Is that a problem? He asked with a confused smile. Oh, no, sorry. Not a problem at all, you said quickly. I'm fine. How are you? Well, thank you, he replied with a more natural smile. What brings you here? He asked, looking towards where you'd come from. Oh, I had to make a statement about what happened at the bank, you said, your gaze falling to the floor. Deku felt so sorry for you. You looked so vulnerable. Miss Lin, can I take you out for an afternoon coffee? He asked gently. Your eyes shot up and met his. Coffee? With you? Yes. Me. Only if you want to. Of course, you said. That would be really nice. He smiled and turned slightly to let you walk up beside him. I know a nice place around the corner from here, he said as you fell in step. I know she's a fan. This is the least I can do to brighten her up, he thought as you practically floated out the door beside him. You made light chat as you walked the short block to the coffee shop and sat down inside. You kept pinching yourself. This couldn't be real, right? Having a coffee with Deku? Surely not. You found that you had a lot in common, and you loved how genuinely interested he seemed to be in everything you said. It was coming up to 2 hours, and he glanced at his watch. Oh, Miss Lin, I need to be at a meeting in a half hour's time. I'm so sorry, I need to go. You waved your hand. No, please, don't apologise. You've been too kind already. Meeting me for coffee? Thank you so much for taking the time. He smiled. It's easy when you enjoy the company. He then blushed. Sorry, that came out. It's a compliment. Thank you, you said quickly. He smiled with relief. He paid for both your coffees, then the two of you walked out to leave, and all of a sudden reporters and paparazzi rushed at you from all angles. Deku, is this lady your girlfriend? How long have you been dating? Can we expect a wedding announcement soon? Are your quirks compatible? Deku grabbed you in a hug and activated his quirk, jumping swiftly into the air and clearing the mob before taking off down the street at green lightning speed. He ran a little way to get out of sight of the crazed mob, then deactivated and put you down. Forgive me, but we needed to get out of there quickly, he said, looking back over his shoulder to make sure you hadn't been followed. Deku, I'm so sorry, this is going to look really suspicious, you said apologetically. He shook his head. Don't worry, it doesn't faze me, he said plainly. You blushed. There's going to be rumours about Deku and I dating. Oh my gosh. I must walk you home before I leave, he said solemnly. I couldn't forgive myself if something happened to you. You blushed again. He sounds so protective. Oh, this poor girl, she's been through enough. I couldn't let anything else happen, he thought as he walked beside you. Small talk continued until you reached your house, and you thanked him again for his kindness and time. He smiled and nodded before activating his quirk and launching into the sky. What a handy quirk, you thought. You could get anywhere in an instant. You sighed with a smile and went inside. And there ends chapter 4. Stay tuned for chapter 5.